Hey guys, it's Dr. Miller Monfils. I was just doing a quick little video just to explain a couple things I've gotten a few questions from students about. So the first one is the engagement points, and honestly, that's an easy way to buffer your grade. So if you're just engaging in the discussion, you're doing everything that you're supposed to be, that means that you're active in the course. If it was an in-person class, yeah, it would be like doing worksheets and stuff like that. Well, actually you are doing worksheets too, but you don't have to turn in anything for it. It's just, I'm going to look at your activity, and if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you get full points. All right, the other thing that we can do is talk about the current event discussion. So the current event discussion post 1 is, if you say it says it's due Wednesday. Since this is an asynchronous course, honestly, you could do all of them in the first day if you wanted to. So this is, I teach asynchronous for my full-time job, but this is a first one for me for Baker. But asynchronous just means you get to do it on your own time. So if you want to crank this whole class out in a shorter amount of time, you're more than welcome to. Just make sure that you engage when you can. So if you look at the instructions, it says to select a current article from the last 2 years that appears in a science or a medical journal or in a newspaper pertaining to health science issues relating to an area covered in microbiology. That's a really very wide type thing. So if you're like, oh, hey, I know that I individually was affected by COVID, or, MERS is on the uptick, or, measles is coming back. Any of those would be very appropriate to talk about. It's just like, hey, what piques your interest? The whole point of this exercise is literally to honestly be able to go to a resource and know if it's a right resource or like a kind of crappy one. And so like if it's Bob's Garage, like by the fire or whatever, that's not going to be a legitimate resource, guys. Okay. So like go to a scientific journal, go to something. And also don't just plug it into ChatGPT and say, give me a summary of this. That's again showing me that you know how to click buttons and use the internet. So use your own words. If you use ChatGPT to kind of be like, oh God, I don't know what these words are, then take that and use your own words to tell me about it. So another thing that I found is like people just copy and paste it. And if you're like using words that I can't even pronounce, guys, I know that you're probably not understanding what you're doing. So honestly, your points are just if you show up and you like pose a question and you give a little bit of a feedback on some of the other people's discussion posts. So don't freak out about it. I'm definitely not, I don't care about format. I'm not your English teacher, try to do good with some, spelling and grammar and stuff. But again, it's all about engagement and knowing where to find good resources and how to use your brain to be like, oh, that's what that means. Perfect. Okay. So again, just find a good article. I'm looking over my phone for the screen, but find a good article, read it a couple times, tell me what you learned, and then kind of respond to other people's discussion posts as well so that we can learn as a class. So it's a pretty cool tool, but again, yes, it does say APA format. I'm not going to be checking that. But again, just I want to make sure that you know where to find a good resource and how to summarize and use your brain to be like, oh, cool, that's what I mean. So hopefully that explains a couple things. Also, the answer, there are worksheets that I put in there, and the whole, like how I set it up, and I had to get some help doing this, so let me know if it's not working. But there is a worksheet that if you print out and you fill it out with hand, or if you put your answers in a Word document or something like that, and you upload that, so you have to submit something, either a photo or a text document upload, then it will give you access to the answer key, which is in like a sub module. And so the reason I did that is because I know people are just, if I just give you the answer keys, you're just going to study the answer keys, and that takes out all of the learning. So my PhD is actually in neuroscience, and so there are a ton of studies out there where it shows that, to really get the information to stick to your brain, to make you like learn it and remember it, it's writing it by hand, right? And so I want to make sure that you at least do it before I give you the answer key. if there's a problem with that, then, you know, again, just let me know, but you'll submit something, and then you should have automatic access to that answer key. Okay, but again, don't just study the answer key. So hopefully that works out. Again, I'm not going to be particular. I know that not everyone has the most up-to-date technology, so if you can only take like a picture of like the pages spread out next to each other and upload that as your submission in one picture, I'm okay with that, right? I just want to make sure that you're doing the work, all right? And as always, I'm always here. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm very active on the emails, so whenever I get a chance, I try to reply. And if there's questions, a lot of times I'll make videos like this just so that we can explain it to everyone. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. I look forward to a very good, awesome, fast semester. All right, bye.